Hey guys, enter the stars. And now that we've established the link between 1968 and the assassination of Martin Luther King and 1973, the year I was born, a subscriber brought to my attention that the actual plot of the movie series The Wonder Years takes place between these exact years, 1968 to 1973. We're going to take a look at the final episode of this television series that ends in 1973. We're also going to take a look at the pilot to see if we can find any synchronicities about Martin Luther King and March 29th, 1973, which is the year I was born, within the Wonder Years. Let's take a look. Now, the other interesting thing about the Wonder Years is that it aired in 1988 for the same time period between 1968 to 73, which is the setting for the TV show. So five years. It's actually 5 years. So we have some synchronicities here that are already attracting me to this TV show. And immediately in the pilot, the opening scene, we get the theme song, A Little Help with My Friends. The band started recording the song the day before they posed for the Sgt. Pepper album cover on March 29th, 1967. Again, in the solar calendar, March 29th is April 4th, the day that Martin Luther King was shot, except that it wasn't, because 1968, the following year, would be a leap year, so it was one day off. But this is the opposite. This is what they were talking about. And of course, the original song was 2 minutes and 44 seconds long. Here's your 44, April 4th, 4-4, Obama, 44th president, who was 6.66 years old, the day that Martin Luther King died. He lives on the 88th meridian, which is Chicago. And then here we have a song length of 4:46. So we have the 4 4s repeated. This is unbelievable, you guys. This is simply unbelievable. You've got to be kidding me. And it confirms here, the song was recorded on the March 29th, 1967. It's all here. Wow. And of course, we see Martin Luther King.
"1968. I was 12 years old. A lot happened that year. Denny McLean won 31 games. The Mod Squad hit the air, and I graduated from Hillcrest Elementary and entered junior high school. But we'll get to that. There's no pretty way to put this. I grew up in the suburbs. I guess most people think of the suburbs as a place with all the disadvantages of the city and none of the advantages of the country, and vice versa. But in a way, those really were the wonder years for us there in the suburbs. It was kind of a golden age for kids.
Golden age.
There, that's me. Kevin Arnold, 1968. The summer before junior high school. And I don't mind saying I was a pretty fair little athlete.
Now, this part is somewhat bizarre. Listen to the music.
Well, I guess I'll see you at the bus stop. Yeah. Last night I had a dream that when I got to school I realized I had no clothes on. If you're naked...
Now, you heard the song. It was Crystal Blue Persuasion, okay? Now, this is pretty bizarre. Now, many of you know I grew up a Jehovah's Witness. And this particular song was recorded in 1969. Now, if you come down here, they actually talk about a popular rumor among Jehovah's Witnesses was that James had read their book, The Truth That Leads to Eternal Life, published in 1968, Again, that's the year Martin Luther King was killed. And their Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, publishing Arm. The song's theme of love, peace, and brotherhood bore some similarity to the Truth book, which envisions an earthly paradise based on the Watchtower Society's teaching about the Bible. And the book had a blue cover. Now this is just shocking. All of the synchronicities of the Wonder Years into my life. It's almost unbelievable, you guys. But it's there. Remember, this is the pilot episode, 1968. We're going to cover the final episode as well. There'll definitely be clues in the final episode that talks about 1973, which is the year I was born, of course. Let's continue. And of course, we've heard Charles Manson in the news. Listen.
Charles Manson had the locker between us. A 7th grader with a beard? This wasn't junior high school, it was a freak show. I hope none of the girls would have beards.
What's your locker combination?
2 lockers down from mine was Debbie Ackerman, one of the prime knockouts of the 7th grade.
Debbie Ackerman.
There was only one problem. Charles Manson had the locker between us.
Now this is crazy. This is the power that these people have. Okay, we're dealing with principalities. We're dealing with forces in high places. Charles Manson wed Afton Burton, and you just heard him say Debbie Ackerman. So I mapped Afton and Ackerman on the globe, on the map of the United States. And this is what I came up with. There is an Ackerman, Mississippi. There is an Afton, Wisconsin, and an Afton, Texas. Now follow me on this. The red lines you're looking at, exact angles. These are exact cardinal directions, okay? Now watch this. When I type in Afton, US, these are all the places that are called Afton in this area near the 88th meridian, okay? I'm going to mark them. We have Afton here. We have an Afton here. This is shocking. We have one there. We have an Afton here. Now remember, he said Charles Manson was the only thing coming between him and Debbie Ackerman. You saw that, right? We have, you guys, this is on a spiritual level. This stuff cannot be made up any other way. Okay? This is real. Okay? So we just mapped all the Aftons in this area. Okay? There's actually one here too. That's in Minnesota. We'll map this one too. Okay? Okay, we've got all of our Aftons mapped, okay? Now anyone that knows anything about geometry, we know that angles on this side can match angles on this side, okay? You divide angles by degrees. Now, watch this. I'm going to type in Manson for Charles Manson in the US, and watch what comes up here. We've got Manson here. We've got a Manson here. So when we take this angle, we have, remember the red lines are cardinal directions. They already lined up with Afton, Texas, and Afton, Wisconsin from Ackerman. So we have our link there. What we're going to do next is line up the Mansons. So we've got 120 degrees to this Afton. We've got these lining up at 150, so that's 30 degrees separating them, okay? That's an Afton. We've got 180, we've got 200. So if this angle is 120 degrees, then this angle becomes 240 degrees. So we have Afton and Ackerman. 120, 240. 200, 180, 160. See how those split apart? 160, they're 20 degrees apart. This is Afton, and we have Manson. These are 20 degrees apart exactly. They somehow control this stuff on a spiritual level through the looking glass, through our television sets, okay? You can't make this up. 120, 240. These are 20 degrees off of here.
Ryan Cooper was killed.
So who's Brian Cooper, you guys? Brian Cooper was a pitcher. He was actually born a year after the setting for this film. Typed in Brian Cooper Wiki. He was the first person to pop up. He was actually born the year after the setting for this pilot, which is 1973. He was born in 1974. He's currently 40 years old. And of course, season 6, episode 22. There's your 322. Is titled Independence Day. It was a double episode, and of course Independence Day is July 4th, 1776, and half of 1776 is 888. Now, and in fact, episode 22 is nowhere to be found on the entire internet. In fact, it's not even available for purchase on YouTube. It's not available for purchase on Amazon.com even. If anyone has a link to this, we can close the loop on this and find out if there are any other 1973 clues. Because remember, the final episode ends in 1973. Now, I believe that Kevin is the Jesus character in the Wonder Years, and I'm going to show you why. They like to show opposites, and Kevin rhymes with devil. But the title of the Wonder Years has the yellow, the red, and the blue. When you look at the colors of the spectrum of the rainbow, yellow is third, red is first, and blue is sixth. That's 3, 1, 6. John 3:16. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, so that those that believe in him have everlasting life. And so what this is it's showing this character. And this is why I keep telling you guys that this isn't about me. This is all points back to Jesus Christ. Okay? And that is the amazing thing. Now, what is the purpose? Now, I didn't watch the entire Wonder Years 6 seasons, and I won't. A lot of watching to do. But I can guess that, and you guys can help me in the comments section here, that this character that is put forward as kind of the innocent, the lamb, the normal boy, I can guess that in the end, it probably leaves you a little confused about life. Or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But their whole purpose is to confuse you. Okay? They draw you in with these poignant stories, tears, laughter, joy, sorrow. You go through the entire life with these characters. And then they tell the lie. They somehow slip that in there. And you believe it because you've already been drawn in emotionally. This is what they do with our holidays. This is what they do with our economy. This is what they do with everything in our reality. And it'll behoove us to understand why and how this works. But he's definitely the Jesus character. Now, how they manipulated and contorted the story, again, I have not watched the series. But I would appreciate your feedback as to what your feelings are about the series and what Kevin represented in this series. How did things end up? Did he end up with a broken heart? Did he end up going to war? I mean, how did this all end up? So anyway, you guys, take care and be safe.